very much. Good evening, everyone. First, we want to thank every city and public official standing here with me on this evening as Philadelphia prepares to confront its first major snowstorm in nearly 2 years. The Managing Director's Office, Streets Department, Office of Emergency Management, the Police Department, the Fire Department, and our first responders, the School District of Philadelphia, the Archdiocese, SEPTA, the Philadelphia Parking Authority, and most importantly, representatives of the streets and sanitation unions who are doing the hard work through the snow. It's a long list, and guess what? They're all here on today. We are working together to maintain public safety, clean our streets, and protect the people of Philadelphia during this storm. As you can see, we are intergovernmental, we are collaborative, and we are putting one Philly first. It's the Parker administration's way of doing business, and I want to especially thank the men and women of the two labor organizations who, even as we stand here, are either out on the streets or preparing to go out on the streets to do the salting, the clearing, the plowing, and whatever it takes to keep Philadelphia safe. So from Local 427 of the sanitation workers, Charles Carrington and Omar Salam, thank you to both you for your leadership and your workforce. From 403 of the Streets Department, Damon Kinsey and Leonard Brown, thank you, and each of your members, thank you for your work. When I joined the conference call the other day before the first smaller snow event of this week, I saw all of the interagency collaboration as men and women in this city government work together to prepare and to handle that storm. We made a particular point of asking these hard-working city departments and agencies, and I want to be very clear here, to pay special attention not only to the major roads that we needed to clear here in Philadelphia just to function, but to pay attention to the smaller streets in neighborhoods too. In the past, those smaller residential streets sometimes waited too long for plowing and attention. But we're doing things differently in the Parker administration. We're here because this is our standard operating procedure moving forward. A city government that works collaboratively across all agencies and is laser focused on one thing only, and that is serving the people of Philadelphia who, quite frankly, we refer to as our customers. And we want to make sure that they feel like our customers and that we are serving them through this weather emergency. This is what one Philly, a united city, actually looks like when it's working together. And now we're going to hear from our Managing Director, Teal, for a fuller update on the storm and the city's plans to respond. Director Teal.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Parker. And I want to say that over the past week, as we've had the opportunity to practice, as that famous Philadelphian said, it's about practice, we have been exercising our snow fighting muscles, and I have to tell you how important it has been, the leadership of our mayor and her entire team, and doing, as she has said, things differently. So that's putting us in a good position to deal with what looks like it's going to be a serious storm. So if you were watching this forecast when we had the last storm, it was going to be a much smaller event. It was predicted to be a smaller event. This storm has continued to trend upwards. Earlier today, it was an advisory, which is the lowest level of warning by the National Weather Service. They went quickly from advisory, past watch, straight to a winter storm warning. So that is the condition that we are in now. If you look at the forecast maps, it looks like we are the bullseye for this event. We're expecting 5 to 6 inches of snow all across the city. As you can see, we're going to have all of these different partners working together to support our essential workers in the field from all of these different agencies and disciplines. We're going to literally have hundreds of vehicles, hundreds of people out on the street fighting this fight. taking care of this snow, taking care of this ice, and we need your help. Tomorrow, this event is going to essentially be it's going to start early this morning, go all the way into the evening hours, the nighttime tomorrow, and it continues to lengthen. So we need you to take this seriously. If you don't have to be on the roads, don't be on the roads. Pay attention to what we're talking about with snow emergencies and moving cars. Again, this is a serious storm. We need access for plowing and salting our emergency vehicles. So please help us. If you don't have to be out there, don't be out there. As far as the city of Philadelphia, if you're a non-essential city worker, please stay home and work from home. We know how to do this. If you are an essential city worker, like many of the folks you see here, come to work. Get it done. That is what we're going to do. We're going to make it happen. And now I want to turn it over to our next speaker, our Director of Clean and Green Initiatives. I have my green tie on. Carlton Williams. In your honor. This turned out to be very timely.
I appreciate it. I like that. Thank you, Managing Director Till. Thank you, Mayor Parker. And thank you all for attending this press event for Snow Briefing Event C. We just completed a Challenge Event B this past Tuesday. And although we did not get much snow accumulation in terms of snow, 1 to 3 inches, the freezing rain and subpar temperatures made it a difficult storm to fight. We want to thank Mayor Parker for her leadership and direction on Tuesday's snow event. As part of Mayor Parker's vision for clean, green, and safe streets, her directive was to ensure smaller side and residential streets be treated as well as primary and secondary streets. While it is important that we treat these major arteries, it is equally important to treat those small streets because, simply put, you can't get to those primary streets if you can't leave your home. Residential streets were treated along with major primary and secondary roads to ensure all roads are safe to travel citywide, and this initiative was very successful as the freezing temperatures would have made it more challenging to clear our streets. And now on to this next storm. Participation is expected to begin Friday around 4 a.m. and is expected to end 10:11 on Friday. Accumulations are expected to be, as the manager's director said, between 3 and 6 inches. I think those numbers are continuing to be adjusted. Friday evening commute is expected to be the most impacted. Temperatures in the teens, so snow is likely to freeze overnight. We are declaring a snow emergency. As of 7 a.m. Friday, for citizens, this means all parked cars must be moved off snow emergency routes by 7 a.m. for snow operations. If you move your car off a snow emergency route, park your car as far as from the corner as possible. Vehicles parked too close to the corner impede the turning radius of salting and plowing equipment. Call 215-686 to find your car if it's relocated. Do not call 911. In preparation for the latest snow event, the Streets Department will have a full deployment of equipment and employees. The department will mobilize over 400 pieces of equipment, including support from city agencies and contractors. While there is residential brine from Tuesday's snow event still on the roads, crews has added additional brine for pre-treating. We have 43,000 tons of salt available on hand to fight this event. Our goal is to make these roads as passable as possible and return the city back to normal operations as quickly as possible. Residents can use Plow PHL, an interactive map, to track and monitor the status of the city's plowing and salting operations. Plow PHL is the fourth and final web mapping tool of Street Smart PHL platform. Trash and recycling collections. Due to the amount of snow accumulations expected, sanitation crews and equipment will be diverted to snow operations. The city is currently on a holiday schedule due to the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, which means collections are currently 1 day behind regular schedule. Friday's collections, which were scheduled to be picked up on Saturday, are suspended. Residents who normally have Friday collections will have to hold their materials until next Friday, as crews will not be able to pick up the materials while they're working on snow operations. As an alternative, residents may drop their materials at the city's sanitation convenience centers, which are open for regular hours Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Residents can track the progress of collections also on Street Smart PHL. We are currently experiencing some collection days due to the recent snow events. Citizens should expect even further delays as it makes it difficult for our crews to travel through this rough terrain. Although crews are working to collect items, snow and ice can hamper those efforts. Please leave items out for normal collection pickup, and we thank residents for their patience as crews navigate these wintry events. So here's some tips for residents to follow. If possible, please stay off the roadways as Managing Director Teal. That is the smartest thing that you can do. Fewer cars on the road will help crews do their job in cleaning roadways. Remove snow and ice from sidewalks and clear a sidewalk path at least 36 inches wide, 3 feet is required within 6 hours at the conclusion of the storm. And to be courteous to wheelchairs, corner property owners are asked to clear their path on ADA access ramps. Work with your neighbors to clear sidewalks. Please do not shovel snow into the street. This hampers our operation and trucks as they get through, and it causes safety conditions. So we want to make sure that if you have to shovel the snow, shovel it along curb lines, not into the roadway. And park your car as far from the corner as possible. Vehicles parked too close to the corner impede the turning radius of our snow fighting equipment. And obey all parking restrictions by not parking near a fire hydrant at least 15 feet from the intersection. Thank you.
Police Commissioner Bethel.
So good evening, everyone. I just want to, again, echo the words that have been said, particularly as it mentioned around staying off the street. And the Philadelphia Police Department, we will be continuing to coordinating with the agencies. We've always coordinated with these agencies here today. We will do that before the storm, and we'll continue to do that during the storm, and we'll continue to do that after the storm. We stand ready as an agency to respond to any calls for service. Our officers will be out and continue to provide safety for our residents throughout this storm. We are 365 days, 7 days a week, 24-hour operation. We will continue in that posture throughout. We stand ready to assist our most vulnerable as well, particularly our elderly. For those who are out there, particularly our elderly, please call us if there's needs of assistance. Our homeless are going to be out there. Please let us know about that as well. As you heard around the emergency routes, we work in collaboration with our parking authority colleagues. We will be out there supporting them with our tow squads, working alongside their teams to be able to keep these emergency routes clear. The better they're free, the better way of access to respond to those emergencies. But I reemphasize again, the Philadelphia Police Department will be fully staffed, up and ready, responding to 911 as we always do in this process. But your help as a community staying off the roads and enable us to do the work makes that an effective process for us. So thank you. I think we're going to send it to Dr. Wallace.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Parker, for the opportunity to stand with you this afternoon. Anytime inclement weather occurs or some other emergency, the well-being and safety of our students, staff, and working families are always our top priority. We also strive to keep schools open to the extent possible, when that's possible, for in-person learning because we're working hard to accelerate student achievement. Given the forecast, all school district schools and central offices will be closed tomorrow, January 19th. All after-school activities and athletics will be canceled as well. As a father of 3 children who are grown now, I remember the importance and the joy of being able to get out and play in snow. Certainly it's been 700 days, I'm told, since the last snow event in the city, Mayor. So we're inviting our young people to get out and enjoy the snow. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania requires school districts to have 180 days built in our calendar. This year we have 180 days plus 1. So we'll be able to use that 1 snow day tomorrow for the students to experience joy, which is one of our core values in our strategic plan, Accelerate Philly. After tomorrow, anytime we have inclement weather that results in the closure of schools, we will move immediately, Mayor, into remote learning. Now that all of our students have Chromebooks, and we're excited about that. All staff designated as essential personnel will be contacted by their supervisors about their reporting structures tomorrow, and they will be compensated in alignment with the collective bargaining agreements that apply to them. We encourage our families to stay up to date by visiting our website, www.philasd.org, and to continue to stay posted on city events. Thank you.
Dr. McLaughlin, Dr. Thank you so very much.
Good evening, everyone. First, let me thank Mayor Parker for including us in the events today to help plan for what we're going to do tomorrow, also for inviting us to this event tonight. So basically all schools in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia that are elementary and secondary will be what we call a flexible learning day tomorrow. That means difference if it will be asynchronous or synchronous, and you will learn that from your school. But our schools will be closed. We expect no children or staff to move to these schools and work from the comfort of their home. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Scott, SEPTA? Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor Parker, for including SEPTA in today's press conference. As the Managing Director stated, SEPTA urges folks to stay home during the inclement weather if at all possible. But for those who do have to venture out, SEPTA will be there for you. We will begin the day running our normal weekday schedule on all modes. SEPTA crews have already begun this evening pre-treating stations and platforms in preparation for the winter storm. Our stations and infrastructure are also being inspected and prepared for the winter storm, including our track switches, overhead catenary systems, parking lots, etc. We'll start the day, as I said, with our normal weekday service, but we do urge our customers to expect delays and detours throughout the day as conditions worsen. Our CCT paratransit service will prioritize medical trips only, so we urge folks who do not need those priority trips to remain at home. The Broad Street line and the Market Frankfurt line are your best options for travel throughout the day. They are the workhorses of the system, and they are most resilient during weather conditions such as these. Our SEPTA crews will be working throughout the day, clearing snow from our stations and parking lots. SEPTA's Emergency Operations Center will begin its operation at 1 p.m. tomorrow and remain open throughout the event. Customers should check our SEPTA website at septa.org, our SEPTA Transit app, our Twitter feeds for updates throughout the day pertaining to service disruptions. Customers should please travel safely. Don't run for buses or trains. Another one is coming. Please be safe when traversing the system. Please be patient. Our SEPTA employees will be working hard to prepare our system and to keep you safe throughout the day. They're battling the same winter weather conditions that you will be. Please be patient with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. We're going to ask Dominic from OEM. Dominic?
Thank you very much, Mayor Parker. Good evening. The City's Office of Emergency Management and our over 40 winter weather emergency plan stakeholders have been monitoring the forecasts, tracking on operational updates, and anticipating the impacts from this weather system since last Sunday and the wrap-up of the previous storm. With that, we held a multi-agency weather coordination call yesterday, as was alluded to, again at 11:30 this morning, and the next is scheduled for 8 p.m. this evening. We are sharing updates through that, making sure we're aware of all of the different agencies and entities that are involved, the conditions, the actions that are being taken, and any unmet needs so that we can anticipate and stay ahead of this storm. With that, and in line with the snow emergency declaration, the city's Emergency Operations Center will be open at 7 a.m. tomorrow with infrastructure, transportation, and public safety partners so that from this room we can stay abreast of everything that's going on across the city and to make sure to pivot if necessarily while keeping everyone, including the public, apprised of our updates. I want to share some updates on behalf of our key stakeholders in the winter weather plan, which is the Philadelphia Parking Authority. The Philadelphia Parking Authority, in line with the snow emergency, has announced $5 flat rate center city parking garages, which are available now for any residents who may be on or near a snow emergency route. The PPA also wants to remind that they will be enforcing safety violations and the snow emergency routes. However, kiosks and the residential parking permits will not be enforced during the snow emergency. And again, to reiterate what Commissioner Williams had said, if your car happens to be relocated in this, do not call 911. Please call 215-686-SNOW. Again, that number is 215-686-7669, and the operator will be able to help you find where that car may have been relocated to. Lastly, as you heard several times, Philadelphia being a city of neighborhoods, we are thinking about our neighbors in all of this. You heard neighbors referenced several times. Use this opportunity to check on your neighbors. Check on your neighbors, make sure they have what they need during and after the storm. Assist them if they need assistance with the snow clearing. But also, as we will be doing in the Emergency Operations Center, respond to any changing conditions, power outages, or other critical emergencies. Check on your neighbors, either by phone or in person. Additionally, we're still experiencing extreme cold. We've been experiencing extreme cold since Sunday 1/14, when the city's Office of Homeless Services announced a code blue. That code blue remains in effect. If you see someone who is on the street and in need of shelter, you can contact the city's Office of Homeless Services for emergency outreach teams to make contact and try and get those folks into shelter. That will remain in place after the snow falls and into this weekend. Again, we are here should the storm change course, should unforeseen circumstances occur, the city's Emergency Operations Center will be activated. With that, I would like to, one other update. We understand that the conditions may change, and so please do follow the City of Philadelphia on social media, the Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management on social media. You can sign up for Ready Philadelphia, which will get you text messages from this room here and from the officials that you see by texting Ready Phila, that's READYPHILA, one word, to 888-777. And there will be a blog with all of the information from tonight that will be kept live on the phila.gov website. It will be one of the first things that you see on that website. And now, without further ado, introduce some of the stars of the next few hours or few days, and that is representatives from Local 403, President Kinsey, and also from the City Streets Department.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Mayor Parker, administration. My name is Damon Kinsey, President of Local 403, Streets and Highways Department. I also like to thank Director Williams and Deputy Martinez. I'm also here with my brothers and sisters from Sanitation, Business Agent, Vice President, District Council 3, Omar Salam, President Charles Carrington, and my business agent, Leonard Brown. We'll be out here starting our duties in a few hours. Just give my colleagues and coworkers a chance to do their job. We'll be rocking and rolling, doing our business. We just ask for a little patience, and that's the key. We just ask for a little patience from the public. We will get to every street, every thoroughway, and we're going to be out there taking care of everything. Salting, plowing, our other agencies out there from Sanitation, PHA. Again, the key is just we ask for a little patience and let us do our job and let my colleagues and coworkers go out here and do what we do best. Again, thank you, everybody. Be safe.
I'm going to hear from Charles Carrington, President of Local 427 Sanitation.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. I just want to say thank you for recognizing labor. It goes a long way. I am the president of Local 427 Sanitation Workers, and I'm going to reiterate what Damon said. He asked for a little patience. I'm going to ask for a lot of patience when it comes to clearing these streets, when it comes to collections of the rubbish and the recycling. Please, just practice a little more patience than what Damon wanted. I want a lot of patience, but we will get to your block and we will get your recycling and your rubbish collected eventually. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much for being with us today. This is what intergovernmental cooperation and planning looks like, and we now want to take any questions that you may have.
Can you talk about the plans tonight to pre-treat the roads and burn the roads?
I'm going to ask Director Williams to come and answer that question.
Excuse me. Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you just go into detail about the plans tonight to pre-treat or burn the roads?
Sure. Well, that's part of the preparation that we commenced right before this evening. And then we bring in the crews to actually start loading up salt trucks so that we can start pre-treating the road. What we want to do is make sure that we get ahead of the storm. You don't want the snow to hit the ground and start ice packing, because once it hit a certain temperature, like what happened this week, it starts freezing over. And at that point, there's nothing really you can do. The salt doesn't do anything under 20 degrees. And you have to wait till it actually warms up. So sometimes that'll take days before that happens. So pre-treating brine is very important. And also it doesn't allow it to adhere to the roadway, and we can plow much more effectively, and we can get as close to blacktop as possible, because that when black ice and all those other things cause even more dangerous conditions. So that process is extremely important. We also make sure that we continue that salting process until there's enough accumulation on the ground to begin plowing. That's when we bring our sanitation crews in and start moving the snow off the street.
So do you know when you're going to start?
We're going to start 2 a.m. This morning, and then we're going to bring in other departments, other agencies. PTA is here, Parks and Recreation, Water Department. This is, as Mayor Parker said, this is a unified effort, and this is all hands on deck. Full deployment means all agencies are available. They provide resources. We have a GPS system to make sure that streets are treated and done each and every street. And we also use technology like cameras to look at different parts of the city to ensure that we don't miss any areas. So we have this storm covered, and we're ready prepared. And as Damon said earlier, just give us a little patience, but we're going to get it done.
I just have a follow-up too. Speaking to some residents, there is concern about the ice and snow that's still on some of the secondary roads. So, do you have a plan of action to address those problems? Is there a message that you'd like to send to these residents?
Sure. We continue after the event B. We got complaints from 311. We kept fire watches and trucks on all evening and all week to treat those areas. So even after the event is officially closed, we'll continue to take those complaints in those areas. Those areas refreezed, even though we treated the areas in salt. Those cold temperatures caused icy conditions. And so that's what a lot of residents are experiencing. It's the refreeze part of it. Call 311 and allow us, again, patience to get there, and we will make sure that we treat those areas. But make sure they report it. And I just want to add the 311 calls. We usually hold all 311 calls until 24 hours after the official operation stops, because we may have gotten to certain areas yet. And so we don't want to open up a complaint line to move our operations all over the place. We want to get through the entire routes. We want to service the locations and all residents once, twice, or however many times that we can get the streets open, understanding that there are going to be some calls afterwards. So that's when we open up 311 for complaints 24 hours after the event, and then we start to address the complaints in priority order.
I just want to note for the record today, I think what you've heard from everyone who has spoken today, who has a role in helping to address this snow emergency, is that Philadelphia, each and every one of you, you all are our priorities. You all are our customers, and it is our intention to get to you and where you live at. You heard Director Williams talk about both primary, secondary, and tertiary streets, and you heard our labor saying that they won't stop. They are working around the clock. So some grace and some patience, but to Philadelphia today was to show you that we see you, we know what's happening, we are prepared, and we're getting to work in order to make it happen. Most of the time, the challenge is people wanting to know. And on this evening, you get a chance to see the people who are at work to address this snow emergency here in the city of Philadelphia. Thank you very much. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you.